This is the big one. And he's off. In part 1 of this 2-part video, I teamed up with slot car expert Gary Skip to compare the Scalextric and the Carrera version of the same cars. And having done that, we're now turning our attention to the track. Now, assembling all of this Carrera track in a way that matched my Scalextric track was a pretty mammoth job, and really did need some level of slot car expertise. So I decided that the best thing for me to do was to have a cup of tea and eat some cake, while Gary assembled the Carrera track. Right, now we're assembling the Carrera version of my Scalextric track. First thing we're noticing is you need more space. We can't fit as much track into the space required, but the quality of this track, if you look at the way it clips together, is so much better than the Scalextric. What I've done here is put 2 pieces of the track Carrera. This is a Carrera track, this is the Scalextric track, and I put them side by side. As you can see, when it comes to the length of the parts, they're identical. Obviously with the Scalextric track, you've got completely different connectors. So the Scalextric has 2 connectors that clip together, whereas the Carrera has 3 connectors that clip together. The gap between the rails is considerably different, wider on the Carrera than it is on the Scalextric. Look, much wider. And of course, if we put one on top of the other, you can see that the Carrera track is considerably wider than the Scalextric track. So there are some big differences there, and the Scalextric's thinner, which means it flexes. That's why you get this flex in the Scalextric, which is partly good, partly bad, whereas the Carrera is rock solid plastic. Standard corner for Scalextric, much shorter, whereas the standard Carrera corner is again longer with a much more larger degree there of turn, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a 60 degrees versus 45. And also bear in mind that this is a radius 1 Carrera. This is the tightest curve they do.
Is it?
Whereas this is a radius 2 Scalextric, and it's still wider.
And that's why, folks, that's a really good point, because that's why I went to Scalextric instead of Carrera. That's the whole reason. Because you can buy much sharper radials on the curves for Scalextric, it meant I could fit my track in a much smaller space. Which is because I used to have Carrera, and the nice thing about it is you can use it outdoors. Gary has finished constructing, as near as we can get, an equivalent of my Scalextric track. So we've got the dit slot carousel, exactly as it is on mine. We've got the Granger straight, exactly as it is on mine. We've got the Disca corner and the Striker corner pretty well exactly as it is on mine. It then goes into the chicane, which is pretty well how it is on mine. It's just reversed. Mine is the other way around. It swings out, this one swings in, but it's still a very similar setup. We've got the No Limits 180, exactly as it is on mine, near enough. And then the only real difference here is we come down to the Rockingham cut, because we've had to put a kink into the Rockingham cut in order to get the track to go together correctly, because some of the angles in the corners are different on Scalextric to what they are on Carrera. But we pretty well have got it. Having got the track together, it's taken a bit of a while, but we've got it together. We're now going to do a comparison to see how the track feels, by just like we did with the Scalextric really, just get a feel for the track, see what it's like, and then we're going to do some lap times with the same cars, the same lap timer, and pretty well the same track. Okay, so we're now going to run the car around with the magnets. So this is the Carrera car with the magnets on the Carrera track. Wow. Now, one thing I will say is the car sounds completely different. The track, sort of from an observer's point of view, looks far flatter, totally flat, no kinks in it, but it has come off. Pushed it a bit too far there. But it does seem, you know, when I look at this track now, there are no kinks, there's no sort of bends or anything like that in the track. It's absolutely perfectly flat. The first thing I'm noticing is this uses plungers rather than triggers. So I'm used to using a trigger, but this time now I've got to get used to using a thumb plunger instead. So that's slightly different. Let's have a little look here. Yeah, this definitely feels, the track is absolutely flat. You can see as the car goes round, there's no kinks, there's nothing, it's just absolutely beautifully flat. The question I would have is, whilst it is perfectly flat, a real track, of course, isn't. You don't get this smoother tarmac on a real track, I would say. You do get cambers, but quality-wise, yeah, I'm struggling a bit with the thumb plunger. I'm not finding it as easy to use as the trigger on the Scalextric, but yeah. We're going to run the Scalextric now with magnets.
Yep, with magnets.
With magnets on the Carrera track.
And what I've noticed is that whereas on the Scalextric track the weight of the Carrera car really felt like a burden, it felt solid, and now I'm driving the Scalextric on the Carrera track. The lightweight car feels a bit floaty, like it's not going to stick, so that's interesting.
So what you're basically saying then, Gary, is when you run a Scalextric car with its magnets on a Carrera track, despite having the magnets, it still feels a bit floaty.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as nailed down as the Carrera car.
Interesting.
I think it probably is. It's just a feel thing.
Could it be that the magnets, the position of the magnets in the car relative to the guide rails are different?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously two positions in the Carrera car, and they are different magnets as well. I mean, the key thing about the track is that Carrera has stainless steel rails, which have less magnetic attraction than the tool steel on Scalextric. So
right,
that is one difference. And the other thing that you'd be able to tell is the noise. The Scalextric to me doesn't really sound much different from when it was on the Scalextric track, but
true.
The Carrera car was really thundering along.
Yes.
On this circuit.
Yes. Yes. Either way, I think both cars, without a doubt, seem to run better, smoother, better than they do on the Scalextric. Right, it is time to find out how fast this Carrera goes around the track on its own brand of track. And we're off. Wow, this is going to be fast. It definitely appears to be running faster than it does on mine. This is a significant difference in terms of the smoothness. I think this super smooth track is making a much better lap time personally. There we go, the lap timer is now sounding the end of the 10 laps. Let's have a look at the scores, and they are pretty damn fast. Okay.
48.82.
So 10 laps in 48.82 seconds for the Carrera car, running on the Carrera tracks with the magnets fitted. So we'll look at the fastest time. 4.63 seconds.
Exactly the same as the Scalextric.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean it's a different track, so it's not comparable.
Yeah, but it's an exact same time as it did it on Scalextric.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And what about the 10 lap time?
spares quicker by 4 seconds.
Quicker. That's fascinating. It's time to find out how fast the Scalextric goes around the Carrera track. This is a magnet car, so the magnets are in just like they were with the Carrera. How will they compare? He's off. Certainly a heck of a lot smoother. That track is so beautifully flat. Right, there you go, he's done his 10 laps. Let's have a look at the scores. This is going to be fascinating. So, right, what did we have before, Gary? So this time it was 10 laps in 47.75 seconds. What was it on the Carrera?
48.82. So
whoa, that's close.
1 second quicker.
The Scalextric is quicker.
4:58. Again, that's a tenth of a second quicker.
A tenth of a second quicker on the fastest lap time as well.
Yeah.
So, what
which
we can...
makes sense, because a tenth of a second over 10 laps will add up to 1 second, which was the difference of the total race time.
So, what we can say is the Scalextric car is the faster car despite being on its competitor's track. So it's faster on both the Scalextric track and on the Carrera track as well. So we've taken the magnets out now, so first thing I'm going to do is get a feel for the car and see how it runs on the track. Right.
We're having to be a little bit more careful because I've not brought any borders for this Carrera track, so you can keep it nice and straight.
Oh, and it has.
As soon as I've said that,
that's interesting. So it has come off there on the corners. So it does mean, that does go to show that you can lose control now the magnets are out.
So what might be a good idea, John, is if we switch to the inside lane.
Yeah.
Because then you'll have the room on most of the corners.
So what we're doing now is trying the Carrera car without the magnets this time. There we go, and it just goes to show there, this takes a little bit more control. It is more liable to flip off the track, which is, you know, no surprise, let's be honest. Okay. So this is the Scalextric on the Carrera track, no magnets. Let's see what she's like. Well, first of all, beautifully smooth. This is, as Gary said, I agree, definitely better than the Carrera. Definitely, beautifully smooth this. This has got to be faster than the Carrera. And in fact, as it's going into those corners, you can get the throttle down knowing you can get off the throttle. It's beautiful. Yeah, definitely the better car. Definitely the better car. This is a joy to drive, this is, especially on this track. So yeah, gets my thumbs up, that one. We are now going to test the Carrera, this time without its magnets, but on its own track. And he's off. Running well. Now what Gary's got to do here is not come off the track. Clearly very important to get a good clean lap time. You've got to do it without crashing. And I can tell you, it's not easy with this car. There we go. That's the sound. That was good. That was the sound. It was doing that very, very smoothly. So what difference does it make? Well, we have got 103.22, considerably slower. Considerably slower to do the 10 laps. What about 6:22? Now we are doing it in the other lane, so there might be a slight difference, but that's definitely slow. We expect that though. We did expect that, in all fairness. The real question is, how will it stack against the Scalextric? Scary's now going to drive the Scalextric car around the Carrera track with no magnets and see what the difference is. This is the big one. And he's off. You can already tell, even on the first lap, how much smoother the Scalextric is. That's definitely running better. Doing well now, he's doing well, he's keeping it beautifully contained, beautifully controlled on that track. And there we go, now signalling the 10 laps is up, so let's bring the Scalextric AMG in and let's see what the final result was. So
58 flat,
58 seconds bang on for the Scalextric without the magnets.
so that's the first sub-minute
Yep,
that we've done with a non-magnet car today on any track.
on any track. First sub-minute on any track, excellent.
And the single lap time 5:64, so it's a whole second quicker than the Carrera.
So that's a whole 1 second faster in the fastest lap. So statistically and scientifically, as near scientifically as we can get, the Scalextric car is the faster car. I'm not going to use the word better because better can be very subjective. You may like these beautiful colours and detailing on the Carrera versus the Scalextric, but there's no doubt that the digital scoreboard has it all. The Scalextric is definitely the faster car on both the Carrera and the Scalextric track.
Yep.
So there you have it, folks. There we go. We have had one heck of a long day today. 5 hours testing testing cars and track together. Here's my thoughts. I started off, I would have bought the Carrera car, the Carrera AMG. That's what I would have bought. And I said to Gary, that's the one I would have gone for. But now, having run these cars around the track, I've changed my mind. I'd have the Scalextric. So I'd forsake the details and go for the Scalextric. When it comes to the track, I would stick with Scalextric. I prefer the Scalextric track. It's more lively, it's got more character. Yes, it's you know, uneven and all the rest of it, but that's what I like about it. So for me, Scalextric for the car and Scalextric for the track.
Interesting, John. You know, I think there's a lot of fans out there of Carrera, and it's easy to see why. I think the track is it's certainly more robust. I don't think that can be argued.
Yeah.
But going back to cars, I would pick a Scalextric car over a Carrera. You know, 9.9 times out of 10.
Right.
I just prefer the performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If Carrera come out with a car that I want to buy that nobody else makes, then I'll probably get it, because it's not like they're that bad that it would put me off from buying them. But they just don't have the edge for me. I'm used to driving all kinds of professional race cars, and driving a Carrera car, unfortunately for me, is just a bit boring.
Interesting. And what about the track?
The track, well, obviously I own this Carrera track, so that would be my choice. I've just had too many bad experiences with Scalextric track bending or not working properly.
Right.
And these are things that are fixable, of course. If you're into the hobby, you can make Scalextric work very well indeed. But if you're the kind of person that puts your track down and takes it up, you know, if you do that over and over again, the chances to damage it are just going to
that much higher. Yeah. So you're Scalextric on the car, but you'd keep the Carrera track.
Yeah, I think
Interesting. So there you go. So one thing we do both agree on, the Scalextric is the better car. It's up to you whether you choose Carrera or Scalextric for your track, but certainly when it comes to the cars, Scalextric's the one for us.
I think they're the winner.
There you go. So thanks for watching, and I'm sure we'll have some more stuff like this coming up in the future.